Hello everyone. We have been discussing on Unit 2, that's on definitions in our earlier classes. So today also we'll continue with the same unit, definitions. And for the 5th semester students of the subject, indirect taxes 1. Here the learning objective of this session is to understand the definition of the GST and the concept of the GST Council. Outcome is it helps the students to understand the GST definition, that is goods and services, and also to know the concept of the GST Council. Here the introduction is the introduction of GST. I told it's very significant step of the government in the indirect tax reforms, that is amalgamating both a large number of central and state taxes into a single tax, which we call it as one nation and one tax. GST is levied on the supply of goods or services as against the present concept of tax on the manufacturing of goods or on sale of goods or on the provision of services. In order to make the concept clear about the GST and the transactions in depth, various definitions being stated under the GST Act. In that, one is about the GST Council. Here the GST Council, it's a newly inserted under section Article 279A of the Constitution of India. The President by order constituted a council called the Goods and Service Tax Council. Exercising these powers, the President has constituted the GST Council on 15th September 2016 with the following members. Here the members are made the Union Finance Minister as the chairperson. The Union Minister of State will be the in charge of Revenue or Finance as a member. Minister in charge of Finance or Taxation, or any other ministers nominated by each state governments. So while discharging the functions, the GST Council shall be guided by the need of the harmonized structure of the goods and service tax and for the development of the harmonized national market for goods and services. Here the GST Council, it's an authority constituted under the Constitution of India, and it is the governing body responsible for the administration of the GST across the India. The administrative powers are vested with the authority for taxing of goods and services. The composition of GST Council, being a federal form, both the central and state government of India on board, consist of the following members. Here the members, the first is the Union Finance Minister as the chairperson of the council, Union Minister of State in charge of Revenue or Finance as the member, Minister in charge of Revenue or Finance, Minister in charge of Finance or Taxation or any other nominated by each state government. And the council also includes the Revenue Secretary, the Chairman of CBSE, that is Central Board of Exchange Council, that is a non-voting permanent invitee, additional secretary to GST Council, 4 commissioners in the GST Council. So this is about the composition of the GST Council. Next is about the quorum and the decision making at the GST Council meeting. Here the decision of the GST councils are made by 3/4 majority of the votes cast. The center has 1/3 of the voting rights and each state has 1 vote, while the states together have 2/3 of the votes. For a valid meeting of the members of the GST Council, minimum of 50% of the total number of members should be presented in the meeting. Next, the functions, powers and functions of the GST Council. The GST Council had made recommendations to the Union and to the states, the following, that is the administration of the GST laws specifying the taxes that is to be levied by the central and the states and also of the union territories that comes under the GST regime, and specifying the GST rates and specifying the goods or services or both that will be subjected or exempted under the GST regime, specifying the threshold limits for the registration and for payment of taxes for the supplier or for the dealers, and for the apportionment of IGST. So apportionment of IGST between the state and center or to the union territories, means how much taxes to be distributed between the center and the states of the IGST revenue received by the center, approval of compensations to be paid to the states for loss on account of any implementation of GST, and resolution of disputes arising out of the recommendation that disputes will be resolved by the GST councils, and the imposition of any additional taxes in times of calamities and disasters, that also that power also rests in the GST councils. Levy of any special rates or rates of taxes for a specified period to raise additional resources during any natural calamities or disasters, that also decisions taken by the council. So these are some functions of the GST council. Next is the GSTN network. GSTN network, that is Goods and Service Tax Network, it is defined under section 25. It's been registered under the section 25 of the Companies Act 1956 as a non-government private limited companies. It was incorporated on the 28th March 2013. The government of India actually holds the 24.5% equity in GSTN, and all states of the Indian Union, including the Institute of Delhi and Pondicherry, and the empowering committees, state finance ministers, together they hold another 24.5%, and balance 51% equity will be held by the ICICI Bank, HDFC banks, HDFC Limited, LIC, Financing, Stock Exchange and Investment Corporation Limited. So it's been decided that to make GST 100% government company, in 27th August, 27th, GST Council meeting is held, that's on 4th May 2018. GSTN, that is Goods and Service Tax Network, it has been primarily set up to provide the IT infrastructure and services to the central and state government, to the taxpayers and also to other stakeholders for the implementation of the GST in India. The functions of GST and network would includes the following. It helps GST network helps the for the facilitation of registration, for forwarding any returns to the central and state authorities, for the computation and for the settlement of IGST, and here for providing analysis for the to analyze the taxpayers profile, running the matching engine for the reversal and for reclaim of any input tax credit, and forwarding the returns to the central and state authorities, and also providing various MIS reports, management information system reports, to the central and the state governments, that's based on the taxpayers return information. So it is GST and Goods and Service Tax Network is developing one common portal, that is GST portal, and application for registration, payment, returns and MIS reports. Right, GSTN network also be integrating the common GST portal with the existing tax administration IT systems that would be building interfaces for both taxpayers. So these are some functions of the GSTN network. And GSTIN, that is Goods and Service Tax Identification Number. So here all the business entities that is registering under GST will be provided a unique identification number that is known as the GSTN, Goods and Service Tax Identification Number, or GST Identification Number. Actually, previously any dealer who registered under the state VAT law, they had a unique TIN number that is assigned to him by the state tax authorities. Similarly, service tax registration number was assigned to a service provider by the CBDT, that is Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs Duty and Customs. But under GST regime, all these parties have come under one single authority, and the different identification numbers has been replaced to a single type of registration number for everyone, that is the GSTIN, that is Goods and Service Tax Identification Number. This will ensure for the better administration by the authorities and greater complaints by taxpayers, and it helps to improve the tax collection. The structure of GSTN, here the structure is every taxpayer will be assigned a state-wise PAN-based goods and service taxpayers identification number, which will be a 15-digit long. And secondly, the first two digits of GSTIN will represent the state code according to the census of 2011, and each state has a unique two-digit code like something like 20 or 27 like for Maharashtra and 10 for the Bihar. Third is that the next 10 digit of GSTIN will be the PAN number of the taxpayer. 13th digit indicates the number of registrations an entity has within a state for the same PAN. It will be an alphanumeric number and will be assigned on the basis of number of registrations a legal entity has within one state. The 14th digit currently has no use, and therefore it will be shown as Z by default, and the last digit will be a check code which will be used for the detection of the errors. So this is the structure of the goods and service tax identification number. Thank you.